Hey guys, it's Kelly. I'm here today to show you how to make a cute little zipper pouch. I know that a lot of people find it very intimidating to try to sew zippers when you're first starting to learn how to sew and quilt. Well, at least I did, and I've seen a lot of people on the internet saying how hard it is or how intimidating it is to sew a zipper. Well, I wanted to show you how easy it really is, because it is super, super easy, nothing to fear. Promise, if I can do it, you can do it. But yeah, here's the finished zipper pouch that I am showing you how to make today. So if you want to learn how to make it, just stay tuned. The materials you will need for this project is going to be a pair of fabric scissors, a washable glue pen or glue stick, or even you could use the regular Elmer's glue. I just find that the glue sticks are much easier to use. In this case, this is just an Elmer's washable glue stick. I also have one made specifically for fabric. This one's by Sewline. I prefer these because they are much cheaper. So if you're on a budget, just go for this. It works fine, does not harm your machine, needles, nor fabric. Promise you, I've used it 100 times, if not more. Then we will need 2 exterior pieces of fabric, 2 pieces of interior fabric, and I chose to use some interfacing for this just to make it a little bit sturdier. The interfacing that I like to use is Shape Flex 101 by Pellon. It is a woven interfacing, and it just gives just a little bit of extra stability to the pouch. I really enjoy using, this is my favorite type of interfacing to use for any kind of project. You will need some pins, just basic pins for later on in the project. Something to help you poke out your corners after you get it sewn around. And you'll need a zipper. The zipper needs to be at least 6 inches. Oh yeah, the measurements for this is 6 by 4.5. I am so sorry, I forgot that. But yeah, you'll at least need it 6 inches long. I choose to use a larger zipper and then just cut it down at the end because it makes it easier to sew on. But you can choose to use whichever you prefer. It is up to you. But hopefully this will show you not to be scared of a zipper. Show you how easy it can be. So let's get moving to the next step. Our first step is to get our interfacing fused to our fabric. The interfacing I use, like I mentioned before, is this Pellon Shape Flex 101 or SF 101, whichever way you want to say it. Now, you can't really tell on film, but there's one side that's got, it's like a bumpy side, and this is the glue side. And then this is just feels like fabric, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bumpy side of the interfacing or of the Shape Flex, put it to the wrong side of our lining fabric, and just line it up good. And this is the glue is heat activated. So as soon as we apply our iron and fuse it, it will be pretty much glued to the fabric. So the way that I fuse my interfacing or my SF101, you can follow your manufacturer's directions if you want, or you can do it my way. I find my way is easier, but it might not always be correct, but it does work. So all I do is I take a hot, dry iron, and we're going to press down and just let it sit there for a few seconds. We're going to lift up, and you can see where that is like left an indentation. We're going to overlap our iron just a tad bit and press again. And repeat one more time. And then it's fused. I go over it one more time on the back, and then just to make sure it's good and in place and is not going anywhere, I hit it from the front with the iron too. Just real quick. Don't have to be too particular about it. and our inner facing is fused. Now you repeat this for both pieces of your lining fabric, and like I said, it'll just help add a little bit more stability to your pouch. So I'll be back in just a few minutes with the next step. Our next step in this process is to get the zipper attached. So the way that I do it is with the glue. I do not like to use pins whenever I'm applying or sewing a zipper, because I find that it doesn't, my fabric gets out of alignment very easily, and I don't like that. So I've just taken up on using glue, and it works perfect. It doesn't hurt your machine, your needles, or your fabric, and it's perfect. All that I do is I'm going to take my washable glue stick and apply a thin strip to the very top of my lining fabric. And I always start with my lining. And I'm doing this a little bit more heavily so I make sure that it will show up on film. Normally I do a little bit thinner and not as much glue. And then I'm going to take my zipper, and my zipper tape is, or my zipper is right side up, so wrong side to the right side of the lining. I really hope that makes sense. With my zipper pull on my left, I'm going to take it and I'm going to center it onto, or about center, onto my lining. And then I'm just going to press it in place really quickly with my fingers. And I'm lining up the edge of the zipper tape with the raw edge of my lining fabric. Just like that. I'm going to take my exterior fabric, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the right side of the fabric. Put a thin strip of glue. Put my glue cap on so it doesn't dry. And then I'm going to take my exterior fabric, right side facing the zipper. I'm going to line it up with the edges of the interior or lining fabric, and I'm going to press it down so that basically the exterior and lining fabric are right sides together and the zipper is sandwiched in between. Now, if you don't feel comfortable using glue for whatever reason, that is completely fine. You can do this using pins. I use pins that I don't mind if they mess up, like if they get bent or anything, because it is going through a few layers. And I would just line up all three edges, stick a pin through, and then I would just pin quite a few along there to make sure it all stays in alignment. But our next step is taking it to the machine, and I will meet you there. Okay, so here we are at my machine. You will notice that I do not have a zipper foot attached. This is just my regular 1/4 inch foot. You can use a zipper foot, and if you don't know what a zipper foot is, basically it can almost look like a ski, and it's different for every machine. I don't see my zipper feet around here, but I will try to insert a few pictures of a zipper foot onto my blog post, so don't forget to go check it out so you can see what a zipper foot may look like, or what your zipper foot may look like. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up, get the zipper out of the way, the zipper tab out of the way, and I'm just going to line up the raw edge with the edge of my 1/4 inch foot. So basically I'm sewing a 1/4 inch seam just like I would for a regular quilt block, or whatever. You do not have to have a zipper foot. This is why I'm doing it like this, in case some of you don't have one. It's still doable with just a regular old 1/4 inch foot, or even your regular presser foot. So all you're going to do is you're going to start a little bit off the zipper tape and just sew a 1/4 inch. Super, super easy. So now our next step is to take this. Let me see if I can zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to take this over to our pressing board, and we're going to press both the interior and exterior fabrics wrong sides together and away from our zipper tape. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to repeat the exact same process with the other lining fabric and exterior fabric. The only difference is my lining fabric, it'll be face up. My zipper tape will be face up with the zipper pull on the right side. So let me get that done, and I'll meet you back here in just a second. Okay, so after you do that, you got all 4 pieces of fabric sewn to your zipper. You're going to have something that looks like this. Everything is pressed away from the actual zipper. Here's the back side. We're going to top stitch. The reason that we top stitch is just to make sure that whenever you're zipping and unzipping your zipper, that this lining fabric doesn't accidentally somehow get caught right through here. So it just pretty much just stabilizes it to make sure that everything's good and in place. So all I do is I line it up with and ignore my dogs please, sorry. I line it up on my presser foot about where I want it, which it doesn't really matter. You can use about an 1/8 inch, I guess, would be a good seam allowance to gauge for. And then I'm just going to top stitch. Just like that. And then I will repeat for the other side and meet you back in just 1 second. So if you can see it, got a top stitch there on both sides. You can see it better on this one. And it just holds it place, adds a little bit of decorative stitching, makes it look a little bit more professional. Now our next step is to pin everything. So let me zoom back out. Excuse me. Unzip your zipper. Very, 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 very important. Unzip it so that it is not gonna, you can actually turn your stuff right side out. And I unzip it about 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from the edge of the fabric. So then we're going to take it and we're going to get our right sides of our exterior and right sides of our interior or lining together. I always start pinning on the lining because we're going to leave an opening in the lining for turning. Okay? So take your pins. And these 2 first pins are your start and stop points. So I'm going to start stitching right here, and I'm going to go around, down, and then I'm going to stop right here. So I pin that, and then whenever I do a zipper pouch, I like to have the zipper part actually facing the lining. I don't really know if it makes that much of a difference. It's the way that I've always done it. I don't know if I read it somewhere or somebody told me that it was the right way to do it or whatever. I don't know. But this is just how I do it. Alright, so now that we have everything pinned and ready to go, we're going to start, like I said, at this pin. I use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Remove that pin. And always back stitch when you start and stop because you're going to be turning this right side out and you don't want those stitches to rip. Now you're going to pivot your fabric, and in order to do that your needle needs to be down. Lift up your presser foot and just whip it around. Super easy. Alright, so now that we've got it stitched all the way around, okay, so now that we've got it stitched all the way around, all we're going to do is take our fabric scissors, or regular scissors if you want to, and cut your zipper tape, the excess, away. Just make it flush with the rest of the pouch, okay? Alright, now, let me move this out of the way. Now we're going to trim our corners. The reason that we trim our corners is so that we reduce the bulk and we can actually have pointier corners. So let me zoom in a little bit. Whenever you're trimming your corner, you make sure that you stay outside of your stitching. You don't want to cross into your stitching, then you'll have a hole in your pouch. Sorry, this is hard to do and make sure I'm in frame. Then you just trim a little bit off. That's it. Repeat for all 4 corners. Our next step is going to be to turn the pouch right side out. In order to do that, you're going to need your blunt tip object. You can use a little pair of embroidery scissors as long as you're extremely careful and don't poke a hole in it. Or even, I've found these little things, like if you get a bag of polyfill fiber stuffing, it always has like a chopstick looking thing in it, and I keep it because it helps me. You never know when stuff might come in handy, so I can use this to poke out my corners as well. But to turn it right side out, we're going to find the opening that we left. We're going to reach in there, reach in past the zipper. This is why we left the zipper open. You're going to grab the corner between your first finger and your thumb and push it out through that, just like that. Do the same to the other one. And then we're just going to turn it right side out, and it's, you know, just do it very carefully. Don't rush it because you don't want anything to rip. It's going to look a hot mess for a good minute, but it will work out. I promise you that. Just tug on it. It'll come slowly but surely. And if you left a good amount open, it'll be easier. So I usually leave between about a 3-inch opening, I would say, 3-inch gap in a pouch this size. And I just poke everything out with my fingers the best that I can. Alright, so then I've got something that looks a little bit like this. The corners aren't perfect and yeah. So then I'm going to take this little, I don't even know what this is honestly, but it's got a cute little tip that I like to use to poke my corners out. And I take it in and I just take my corners, put it in my corners, and I just push it out to make my corners nice and sharp. Now I repeat for all 4 corners really quickly. So after we've got all 4 corners poked out with our little tool, we're going to take our tool back in there, and you see how the zipper right here, well no you can't, okay, see how that's kind of like tucked in right there? We want it out. So we're going to take our little tool, you can take your fingers if you want, actually I think that's what I'm going to do, and just press it out. Now I'm going to take my tool. Okay. Unzip the rest of the way. And I'm going to kind of fold it in a little bit so that it looks like I'm almost trying to stuff my lining back in to get it all right sides out. And then I'm going to take it, and we got to stitch up this hole. The way I do that is I pull on my corners, stick my fingers down in there. That'll press it under about a 1/4 inch. Take a few pins. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I'm in frame, and I don't know if I am or not. So I got it pinned like that. Now we're going to top stitch just to close it. Make sure you back stitch and start and stop. Zoom in on that a little bit. So make sure you move your pins as you come to it. Stitch a little bit past my opening, back stitch. Zoom back out. So you're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. Now, well, if I could quit hitting the camera. Trim your excess threads. And stuff it in. This you're just going to have to kind of finagle with for a few minutes to make sure you get the corners lined up right. You can use your little blunt tipped object. or whatever to get it all lined up right. Yeah. Just like so. And you can take it to your iron and press it if you want. But there you go. You've got a cute little zipper pouch. Super quick and easy project to make. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks. See how easy it is? Super, super easy project. And it's really cute, and you'll have something cute to carry around in your bag to put change or whatever you want. It can be used for anything. You can make this in any size you want as well. And I will be showing you different variations coming up soon on zipper pouches and things like that. But I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future tutorials. I've got a lot lined up here soon. I'm going to be filming like a mad woman. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say, except for don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Flickr. I'm at Craft Nurse Quilt on all of those. And I finally started a Facebook fan page. Yay! It is Craft Nurse Quilt 01. Because apparently I'd started something on Facebook a while back with Craft Nurse Quilt. And I don't remember any of the passwords to it. So yeah, that's why I had to do Craft Nurse Quilt 01. But I will link everything in the description bar. And don't forget to check out my blog, where I will have a full detailed tutorial on this with pictures and everything, step by step written out on how to do it. If you have any questions or any ideas or comments or anything, just want to chit chat, leave it in the comments below, and I promise you I will respond as quick as I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.